Well, I've done it. I'm pretty excited about it, and I wanted to share it with you. This has been the easiest thing in the world, but I've finally done what I haven't found anywhere else, which is make a direct charge from Flutter to Stripe without using Connect, without hard coding stuff, without any obvious security holes. There may be a few, and if there are, please let me know. Yeah, I think I cracked it, so I'd like to show you what I've done. If you are looking for a basic Flutter, Stripe, or anything else tutorial, this is probably not going to be the right one for you. I'm going to assume you know how to set up Firebase. I'm going to assume you know how to set up Stripe and, of course, Flutter. So we are going to be using Firebase functions for this, and we need that because one of the three sections of setting up this payment has to go through the server. So because I use Firebase for all my other stuff, and as a Flutter developer you probably are too, I'm going to put a couple of functions in to talk to Stripe and make everything flow beautifully. Let's get started. Going back here to the Stripe dashboard, most important thing you're going to want to see right here is status succeeded. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. However many characters that is, it's just, well, you know where I'm going with this. Anyway, so let's see what we've got. This is a Flutter project, and we are using as our jumping off point the wonderful Flutter Stripe payment. So to get started, we're going to need a couple of dependencies, of course. We're going to be using Stripe payment as the major part of what we're doing here. It doesn't do everything, unfortunately, so we're going to have to go direct to Stripe per part of it, and then the rest of it is just your good old Firebase, Cloud Firestore, Cloud Functions. Cloud Firestore is not necessarily required, but I've been fighting with my iOS setup all day, and it's in and it's working, so just ignore that part. So yeah, we've got 5 packages, 4 of which are truly necessary, and let's begin. So I'll get rid of this, and here we go. We're going to start with very, very basic app. I've changed the colors to get close to Stripe. To do this, we need 3 sections. We need to grab the card. We need to create a payment intent, which we do at the server through the functions. And then we confirm that payment intent and get the magic status succeeded. So let's put that together. Just to make everything pretty, we'll do it in a list view. The controller of controller, have to put in. Again, some padding for prettiness. Have you switched over to using elevated buttons yet? They're very pretty. Well, see, they don't make much difference to me. So we are going to need 3 elevated buttons. Okay, good. 3 elevated buttons, and we are going to tell them that they are step 1, payment method. payment intent. And finally, what do you want to call it? Confirm. Okay. Let's throw in some logging at the bottom. This is based on the original Stripe package that I mentioned earlier. You can get the example code off the GitHub repository, and you'll find that I've used a lot of it, but obviously we're going to make some changes to make it work. I'll just, for my own purposes, I'll scoot this down a little bit. And you know what, I'm just going to copy this stuff. It's just logging. I'll put the repo up publicly later on if you want to take a look at it. Probably makes things a bit easier. So as you see, we've got a few new variables and we've got a few new things we need to add in. So let's just go do that the easy way. Grab my imports. So I'm going to be using Dart convert, obviously basic Flutter, Firebase stuff, and the HTTP for making the calls to functions, and the Stripe payment package. All right, what other stuff do I need? Pub key, payment method, payment in client side secret, payment intent, and error. Okay. Got those, got error and pub key. I capitalized that correctly. Underscore pub key, of course. Make it private. All right, so we got that, and we got some logging. Let's see, make sure that the logging is working. Okay, so with Stripe, you probably know you need a publishable key and a secret key. And let's deal with this first. Most people, when they put these demos together, they are just going to hard code it. And I was watching one of the official Stripe videos recently, and they came up with a really good idea, which I'm going to share with you now, and that is to pull the public key from a server every time. That way, if you need to change things, you can do it at the server level, and you don't have to roll out a new version of your app. And also, well, they say there's no security problems with having a publishable key out in the wild. Who knows, right? Less keys, the better. So let's flop over to functions. So we go to the functions directory index. Right now I've got nothing in here. So we are going to want to pull Stripe in. Nice if I did this correctly. So I'll make this a bit bigger for now. So most people will just grab the secret key. Best practice is to suggest that you tell it which API version you're using. This is the one that the Flutter Stripe package uses, so we're matching. There is also a newer one. I'll drop that in here just in case. 2020-08-27. That's the one I was doing testing on, but let's try to keep everything the same. So now let's make a really simple function, and that is reply to any request, any post request with the published key. And that's all there is to it. So as you probably know with functions, you just say what you want the endpoint name to be on request, and it's just going to reply JSON with that particular key. So in my case, let's go move on so that I can publish these both at the same time. So the second part, if we go back to our emulator, the second part is to create a payment intent, and that's the part that is done on the server. So I'm just going to copy this and walk you through it. It's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to call it create payment intent, and all it's going to do is it's going to pull in from the query the amount and the currency. That's all there is to it. And assuming that works out correctly, it's going to spit out something called a client secret, which we get back from Stripe. And then if there's an error, there's an error. So that's all there is to it. You'll see if we have a look in our Firebase functions config get, I've got the secret key and the public key, and those are obviously just test keys for now. And for the sake of this video, I will be rolling my keys, don't worry. What else? So do Firebase functions, Firebase deploy, only functions. And that will send it up to the server. I get rid of some stuff before recording this video, and obviously I got rid of a few too many things. So while that's working, that should be fine. We can test that in a bit. Where are we now? Let's deal with getting the payment method. So the classic method is to just hard code it into your init state, but that's again not the wisest of ideas. So let's do it a slightly different way. Let's create a function that we run in our init state that will give us what we need. So that function, we'll call it get pub key for getting the publishable key. And this is async because we are going to be waiting on our function. Again, I'm going to copy this to keep this from being 2 hours long. My typing is okay, but it's not that great. I'll copy the right part of it and walk you through it. Sorry about that. So we're going to go to this particular one, which everybody's going to have a different URL based on their functions. I managed to get payment intent. So we're going to go to post just a nothingness to cloud functions / pub key. And then we're going to get rid of the response. We're going to decode the response, and we're going to grab the data of publishable key. We're going to set it. So if we want to test this, a great tool, I don't know if you've ever used it, is Postman. So we need to post to https us centra1 payment intent.cloud functions.net/pub_key. And if we've done this correct, there we go. We get our publishable key back. And that will be the same thing as we have in our Stripe config. So everything is working correctly there. Now let's grab that before we start our main loop. So and that's all there is to it. So before we run, we're going to get our published key using this async function, which goes to our cloud function and grabs that particular string. Seems like a lot of work to do it, but that's what's required to keep it on the server. So where are we next? So if I reload this, am I pulling in my publish key? No, I'm not. I need to start it up again. It's the problem with init states. All right, while we wait for this. Let's add an action for testing to the app bar. Okay, so we're back in. We've got our publish key, and let's move on to the next thing. So payment method. Okay, payment method. This is straight from the docs. No problems here. So what we're going to do is we are going to do Stripe payment request with card form. And there we're going to go card form payment request. And then using the payment method that we get back, I think that's long enough. Uh-oh, what do I do here? Oh, I don't have a scaffold key yet. Let's bring in a scaffold key. There we go. So let's see if this does what it's supposed to do. Pulled in the payment method. Oh, I haven't set state yet. Okay. Okay, and we'll catch an error. And we need to create this catch set error function quickly. It's just the copy paste, nothing exciting. Put it in here. And we need another variable. Lots of variables in this one, huh? All right, so that should be giving us what we need for step 1. I think. Restart this and see what works. Click that. Good old 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 4 2 1 2 2 3 6 5 4. And we got an error. All right, let's figure out what we did wrong. I don't need this side anymore. Oh, good old snack bar causing problems. You know what? For the sake of the video, I will just get rid of that kind of stuff. I really wish they would make it so that you could use your keyboard to do that, but on an iOS device you can't. So okay, so we got our payment method back from Stripe. The important part that we are interested in is this ID line, PM1 BC. We're going to combine that with a payment intent, which we're going to use the Firebase function for that. We're going to combine that to create a payment intent, and that should let us confirm it and create the charge. So let's move on to step 2, payment intent. Insert ad here. No, I'm just joking, I don't do ads. By the way, this is my ad since I'm thinking about it. Relatively new channel, hardly any content, but I promise there will be more if only you like and subscribe. So I'd love to see you back here, and hopefully we'll do more interesting things like this in the future. So yeah, like, subscribe, or feel the wrath of Yoda. Right, so step 2, payment intent. I don't know about you, but I like to close these things off so I know what I've done. I don't have to look at so many different things. All right, so we're at the scaffold. We don't care about the app bar, and we're at elevated button number 2. So what do we have to do here? This is where things get a little bit funky because the payment intent is not built into the Stripe library. So what we're going to do is send a post request to functions, and it will do what we want it to do. So let's grab the URL, which we created through functions. I'll tidy this up here for a second. So create a payment intent URL, call it what you will, equals to there. So we're going to hard code for now the amount and the currency. And then we're going to create a big long URL from those variables. And then we're going to send the post request to functions and get something back. So we've got an await in here, so this needs to be async. And once we've got it, we'll just parse it, and we will set the state, and we'll be good. Okay, I'll reload this baby and it should work. So we've already got our payment method. Let's see if we can get a payment intent. And we do. So you know it's a good one if you see secret in the middle, because the actual payment intent is the first part, the PI, blah, blah, blah. And then the client secret is combined with this. And so when you combine the PIX, I guess you want to call it, with the payment method ID, you get to confirm a payment intent. So you're confirming this payment intent, the PI1, by using the secret and the ID together. So let's do that. This one's not so hard. We're going back into the Stripe package, the Flutter Stripe package, and it's going to be pretty similar. So we're going to do Stripe payment, and we're going to use the confirm payment intent method. And inside there we have a payment intent object with a client secret, and that's going to be from our state payment intent client secret, or as I call it, the PIX. And we're also going to need the client secret that we just got from where's that, the client secret? Now we got the client secret, and now we're going to need the payment method, right, from step 1. It's not in order, but it doesn't really matter. Payment method ID is going to be payment method dot ID. Is it dot ID? Yeah, payment method dot ID. And then we'll make it pretty. And we'll catch an error. And if we've done everything correctly, we should be good to go. So going back here, we've got confirm payment intent with the client secret, which is this down here, the current PIX, and the payment method ID, which is this current payment method and the ID. Feeling lucky? Let's see. Aha! There we go. Most important thing you're ever going to see is status succeeded. And there you go. We have charged 77 Canadian dollars and 77 cents. So let's flip over just to double check our Stripe logs. And refresh. 246 here and 246. So first we created the payment method, which was the PM1 that we saw. Here, let me pull this over. So we created the payment method, which gave us PM something 9BC, and that's here, US 9BC. We then created a payment intent by posting to payment intents from functions. Good. And we're saying we want 7777. The only thing we sent though was the amount and the currency. And it came back with all this fun stuff. Most importantly, the client secret, which we then found here. BXQ, BXQ. And then we use those two to create our payment, or to confirm our payment intent. So post payment intents, whatever that all-in-long thing was, /confirm. And that gave us status succeeded. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the most beautiful thing I've seen in a few days. I've been working at this for a while. Anyway, hope this is helpful for you. I'm going to do a quick edit of this and throw it up online. So if you have any questions, please ask in the comments. I will throw a link to a public GitHub repo on here to let you do this the quick way. And also, while I'm at it, please subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers so I can spam you guys with ads or at least do something. Anyway, it's been fun. Hope this was helpful for you. And if not, well, go watch some